Michael Guest. Does that work?
Yeah, that's all.
Wait a few more times.
All right. Okay, talk to us about the decision here today and what it means to the county, basically.
Well, what this means is the victim now can have closure to the case. Throughout this entire process, we want to make sure that our victims are aware of the ongoing court proceeding, and we want them to be part of the plea bargaining process. And throughout this entire ordeal, we've been in contact with the victim's family to make sure that the victim's family believes that justice has been served. In this case, of course, we were trying to balance the nature of this offense with the request of the family. And while the family was, in fact, adamant that Mr. Law go to jail, which he did today when he began serving his 8-year sentence, the family was also very concerned about having to put their 15-year-old daughter on the stand to testify in this case. And so, but based upon that, we were able to meet with the family, meet with law enforcement, and make an offer that we felt was reasonable in this case. Mr. Law chose to take advantage of that versus risking a much greater sentence if he would have gone to trial. In this case, of course, I want to thank the Madison Police Department for the outstanding job that they did. They were also assisted by the Rankin County Sheriff's Department. This case began when the minor child reported to the Rankin County Sheriff's Department about the assault. When it was learned that the assault occurred here in Madison County, the Madison Police Department then took the case and was able to make a very good case against Mr. Law. So I want to thank both of those agencies for the hard work that they did in this case.
And the choice to suspend, I guess, 12 years, that was your office making that decision on the 20-year sentence?
Yeah, what we did is, in talking with the victim's family and in talking with law enforcement, we believed that we needed to craft a sentence in which that there would be a substantial amount of time that Mr. Law served, in this case 8 years, that being substantial because unlike other sentences, in this case, that sentence will be served day for day without the possibility of probation, parole, or early release. And then after he was released from custody, we wanted to make sure that he would be under the supervision of the Department of Corrections for a number of years. And so we crafted a sentence that we believe would accomplish both of those goals, as well as Mr. Law now would be required by law to register as a sex offender. And so for the remainder of his life, regardless of where he may live, whether it be here in Mississippi or North Carolina or elsewhere, he'll be required to register as a sex offender, and people will be put on notice of his conviction. So I do feel that this sentence accomplished not only what we wanted, but more importantly what the family wanted, to see that justice was served in the eyes of the victim's family in this case.
We just heard the attorney talk about how he feels that the sentence going to prison, that doesn't really fit the punishment that would dissuade him from doing it in the future, because he says he realized immediately after that wasn't the right thing to do. Can you talk to me about the reasoning behind the sentence and why somebody convicted of doing something like this should be going to prison?
Well, I think when we have people that take advantage of children, which clearly is what happened in this case, I think our laws are designed to protect children, and I think we send the wrong message when those people are allowed to be released on probation. And so, in this case, not only is it a punishment there, but I hope it serves as a deterrent to others, someone else who may be out there and who may be having thoughts about having some inappropriate relationship with a child. I hope that they'll see that there are punishments, and if they commit those kind of crimes, there will be consequences, and those consequences will include going to prison. And going to prison for a long period of time. So we hope that this will help send a message to others and maybe prevent future occurrences like this.
How did Rankin County law enforcement learn about this?
The Rankin County law enforcement was contacted by the victim's family. Once again, the victim was residing in Rankin County. The Rankin County Sheriff's Department, as they began the investigation, then learned that the sexual contact between the victim and Mr. Law occurred at his residence here in the city of Madison. They then contacted the Madison Police Department, and so the two agencies were able to work together to build a very solid case against Mr. Law.
In the choice to drop the other charges, there was a second charge in this case?
Yes, there were two separate incidents in which there was inappropriate sexual contact between Mr. Law and the minor child. Out of each of those separate incidents, there were 2 counts that arose out of each. Again, that was part of the plea negotiations between our office, the defense lawyer, the family, and then we were in contact with the Madison Police Department, making sure that they were aware of not only our position but the victim's position in this case. And so again, that was part of the overall global plea bargain that was reached in this case.
Down to one count.
Yes, sir, down to a single count. That's correct.